those things are very dangerous. You know, I almost got killed on top of the roof of this hotel. I mean, the horse was on top, and then the camera moved around too fast, and the horse freaked out and stepped back, and he almost fell off the roof with the horse. So one has to be very careful with those things. But now looking at the movie, it was all worth it.
Explosions, disguises, and one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's most unexpected performances made True Lies feel like pure Hollywood muscle. But beneath the jet fighters and one-liners sits a detail most fans watched right past. It's not about a stunt, a weapon, or a deleted scene. It's something baked into the film's DNA, shaping the story, the tone, and even Arnold's role in ways few noticed at the time. Once you see it, the movie plays differently. The title says it all, but the real truth stays just out of reach. The hidden inspiration. True Lies, the 1994 blockbuster that combined jaw-dropping action with unexpected humor, actually finds its roots in a rather unlikely place. A French film titled La Totale. Released in 1991 and directed by Claude Zidi, this spy comedy served as the original blueprint for True Lies. Most fans of Arnold Schwarzenegger's hit would be surprised to learn that the film they associate with high-octane explosions and state-of-the-art stunts was based on a more light-hearted and relatively modest French production. The transformation from a European comedy to a Hollywood spectacle was drastic and intentional. La Totale itself was a clever mix of espionage and domestic farce, focusing on a secret agent who hides his identity from his wife, leading to misunderstandings that generate much of the humor. When the idea to remake the film for American audiences surfaced, the plan was not simply to translate the story, but to reimagine it as a major action film with a global scale. James Cameron, who took the helm for the remake, saw the potential in the original but recognized the need to amplify it dramatically. The choice to expand the film's scope into large set pieces, cutting-edge special effects, and intense physical performances came from Cameron's vision as much as the evolution of audience expectations. In doing so, True Lies became a hybrid unlike most remakes, simultaneously paying homage to its source while carving out a distinctive identity. The evolution of setting, from the largely European scenario of La Totale to an international and mostly American scene, made it possible for the movie to explore the very modern geopolitical landscapes. The Cold War had just come to an end, and the whole idea of secret agents fighting against terrorism was a very new thing for Hollywood thrillers. This gave a wider range for the action scenes and plot twists that seemed to be very much and very urgently intended for the audience of 1994. The overall story might be big in many ways, but the storyline that held the movie was still the romantic tension between the covert operative and his innocent spouse. This juggling act, based on La Totale's essence, turned out to be one of True Lies' most attractive features, mixing the hidden with the giant. It is the measured interweaving of comedy and love amidst the violence that sets the film apart from most others of its time. Many fans may not be aware of the fact that the French Connection had such a profound influence on the casting, selection of scripts, and even the staging. For instance, the various moments of domestic awkwardness and the comedic timing allude to the original film's lighter tone that is hidden beneath the blockbuster surface. Cameron's revision kept the original's magic while making every other aspect extreme. The French version was also acclaimed for its character-based narrative, which helped to build the emotional stakes more complicated than those in the action films of the time. This very quality of the script was the reason that character flaws and explosions became equally important in shaping the movie True Lies. Thus, Arnold Schwarzenegger's characterization was not based solely on his being physically dominant. It was rather this complex script, that formed the ground for him to stand. When you learn about this origin story, it will make you appreciate the movie more, and you will see that the huge success it had was not just because of the big names and the special effects. Rather, it was the clever conversion of a less ambitious story that was in tune with the whole world, and the incredible creativity of the directors who were willing to amplify the story's limitations that were the main reasons. With the film's unexpected roots in a French comedy now clear, it's fascinating to consider how Arnold Schwarzenegger's distinctive approach to his role set True Lies apart from other action films of the time. Schwarzenegger's unique role. Arnold Schwarzenegger was no stranger to playing action heroes by the time True Lies was released. Yet, in this film, he embraced a character that broke away from the straightforward, muscle-bound archetype audiences had come to expect. Instead of simply being the unstoppable force, he played Harry Tasker, a covert CIA agent leading a double life as an unassuming computer salesman. This delicate balance required Schwarzenegger to reveal layers of vulnerability and humor rarely seen in his previous roles. What made Schwarzenegger's performance stand out was his willingness to blend physicality with charm and comedic timing. Unlike earlier films like The Terminator or Predator, where menace and intensity dominated, here he had to portray a man juggling the strain of deceit at home with the dangers of espionage. Moreover, Schwarzenegger's sci-fi at the time predominantly featured silent, stoic characters with minimal dialogue, until True Lies, which demanded a far broader range. He deftly handled scenes that alternated between explosively physical and gently domestic, allowing audiences to see a more human side. This gave the film emotional grounding amid the spectacle, something even seasoned action stars sometimes miss. The actor also embraced physical comedy in ways that caught many viewers by surprise. Whether fumbling at home or attempting awkward romantic advances, his timing brought warmth and levity to moments that could have easily become cliches. These comedic beats helped audiences invest in the character's personal stakes, a clever narrative choice that Schwarzenegger executed skillfully. True Lies also gave Schwarzenegger the chance to perform some of his own stunts, which made the physical scenes more real. His participation in action made the movie more thrilling without disturbing the comic flow. The combination became a hallmark of the film's distinct patron and was vital to its enduring success. This is how Schwarzenegger teamed up with James Cameron to mold Tasker's character, and the actor was careful at all times not to come up with a mere caricature. Their teamwork bore a man who could pace an action movie, yet at the same time allow viewers to get into his personal struggles and secret life. It was a labor that transformed the performance into one that exceeded traditional genre limitations. The character became a major turning point in Schwarzenegger's career that not only widened his range, but also opened up future opportunities for roles that combined action with comedy. It showed that he was capable of creating a character in a movie that not only required a powerful physical presence, but also delicate emotional nuance. The character of Tasker is now frequently mentioned as one of his most remarkable and versatile performances. A fact that started as a possible rehash of a quirky French comedy morphed into a vehicle for Schwarzenegger's development as an actor. The role not only challenged but also enriched the film's storyline complexity. Evidence that True Lies was more than just a typical mid-20th century action film. The director behind this transformation, James Cameron, brought a distinct vision that amplified every element of the movie, making sure that Schwarzenegger's performance and the story resonated on multiple levels. James Cameron's vision. James Cameron was already a celebrated director before True Lies, known for his ability to blend cutting-edge technology with compelling storytelling in films like Terminator and Aliens. With True Lies, Cameron aimed to push the boundaries of the action genre even further by combining high-stakes espionage with intimate character moments and sharp humor. His vision turned the movie into a spectacular cinematic experience that balanced spectacle and heart. One of Cameron's core goals was to create an action film that felt fresh and unpredictable. He deliberately mixed genres to avoid the one-note pacing common in many thrillers. By incorporating comedy and focusing on the lead character's domestic life as much as his spy adventures, Cameron crafted a narrative rhythm that kept audiences engaged on multiple fronts. Visually, Cameron was intent on using emerging technology to make True Lies thrilling and immersive. The film features some of the most ambitious stunts of the era, including the iconic Harrier jet sequence and elevator fight scene, showcasing his penchant for pushing practical effects alongside nascent CGI. This approach gave the movie a tactile realism that digital effects alone can't achieve. Beyond the technical innovations, Cameron's attention to character development was crucial. He encouraged Schwarzenegger and the supporting cast to deliver performances that balanced sincerity with exaggeration, navigating the film's tonal shifts seamlessly. This careful calibration made the story's humor feel earned rather than forced. Cameron also wanted to highlight the domestic conflict arising from Harry's secret life. The tension between his spy persona and his unassuming home life was treated with both drama and a subtle commentary on relationships under pressure. This thematic depth sets True Lies apart from many action films that favored spectacle over substance. The director's commitment to authenticity extended to location choices and set designs, which aimed to ground the film's larger-than-life moments in believable environments. Whether in luxury homes or exotic settings, Cameron focused on creating atmospheres that enhanced the emotional stakes and narrative momentum. Several scenes were meticulously storyboarded and rehearsed under Cameron's direction to ensure precision and impact. His leadership on set pushed the cast and crew toward excellence, resulting in sequences that remain memorable decades later. The cohesion among action, story, and character owes much to his disciplined yet imaginative approach. Even Cameron's collaboration with composer Brad Fiedel, who had scored his earlier works, helped maintain a tonal consistency. The music supported both the high-energy action scenes and the quieter, more humorous parts, reinforcing the film's unique emotional layers. The innovative energy Cameron brought to the project set the stage for how the film's genre-bending tone would be maintained in the dance between explosive action and witty comedy, a balance essential to its enduring appeal. Balancing action and comedy. True Lies is often remembered for its thrilling action sequences, but an equally important element is the film's clever balance of humor. Achieving this blend was no small feat, especially given the intensity of the spy thriller genre. James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger worked to ensure that the film didn't become a relentless barrage of explosions, but instead provided moments of levity that made the story more accessible and entertaining. This tonal interplay became a defining characteristic that set True Lies apart from many other action movies of the 1990s. The humor often arises from the domestic side of the story, especially in the scenes involving Schwarzenegger's wife, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Their relationship starts as a humorous exploration of misunderstandings, with Harry Tasker's secret life causing both confusion and comic relief. This mix of ordinary marital spats amid extraordinary circumstances gives the film a relatable core, one where audiences could laugh at the absurdity without feeling detached from the characters. Many jokes in True Lies are physical or situational, playing off Schwarzenegger's unexpected awkwardness in domestic settings. Watch scenes like the infamous pillow fight or the awkward moments of Harry trying to woo his wife under pretenses. These are moments where physical comedy meets character insight. Schwarzenegger's timing showed surprising versatility, with his tough guy image softened by genuine humor, endearing him to audiences beyond his action hero status. Cameron's script carefully integrates humor without undercutting the suspense. Even amid high-stakes sequences, there are witty exchanges and surprising comedic moments that create dynamic pacing. This clever mixing keeps the audience engaged and offers emotional highs and lows that elevate the story. The result is a thriller that surprises viewers with laughs even during its most intense scenes. Moreover, the timing of comedy was affected by Curtis's acting, which introduced a combination of hot-headedness and folly. The gradual change of her character from a disregarded wife to an enlightened partner draws more humor and narrative development in the same light. The combination of Schwarzenegger's and Curtis's acting was very important for these scenes going through, thus establishing the comedy based on real-life relationship dynamics. The movie's visual interludes also are benefited by good staging and choreography. From the use of oversized facial looks to the timing of the falls, the action-comedy switching is done by the use of conversation through the body. The whole thing depends on the actor's skill and the director's knack for turning the fights and the stunts into pieces full of characters and charm. On the other hand, the cast and crew behind the scenes were at the forefront of this genre hybrid, mixing perfectly planned stunt work with well-rehearsed comic bits. The collaboration between action and comedy required a very fine-tuned technique during the shooting, ensuring that neither the one nor the other would overpower the other. This cooperation was crucial in allowing the film to maintain its unique tone. The wit of True Lies was to mingle the humor aspect with the thriller aspect, and this made the film attract more people. The audience who thought it would be a regular Arnold movie experienced a plot that was not only surprising in terms of emotion, but also of humor. The success of this dynamic storytelling required not only a visionary director, but also daring stunt work that would bring audiences to the edge of their seats while never losing the film's playful pulse. The stunt work secrets. True Lies is acclaimed for some of the most spectacular and innovative stunts of its time, pushing both physical and technical boundaries. One of the movie's most iconic sequences involves the Harrier jump jet flying at dizzying speeds, which combined real aircraft footage with carefully crafted visual effects. Achieving this blend took months of planning and close collaboration between stunt coordinators, pilots, and the visual effects team to create thrilling realism without compromising safety. The elevator fight scene is another highlight, widely regarded as one of the best choreographed action sequences in film history. Shot in a confined space, this fight required precision and creativity to maintain intensity and clarity. Actors Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bill Paxton relied on carefully rehearsed movements to bring the claustrophobic tension alive, ensuring each punch and grapple felt impactful despite the limited setting. Many stunts demanded a combination of practical effects and burgeoning CGI technology. The early 1990s were a time of transition, and True Lies embraced this by using practical rigs for explosions and vehicle crashes while augmenting them digitally. This hybrid approach provided a visceral authenticity that pure CGI alone couldn't replicate at the time, making the action sequences both believable and visually dazzling. Arnold Schwarzenegger was known for his physical dedication, and True Lies was no exception. Although stunt doubles performed some of the more dangerous feats, Schwarzenegger completed a number of his own stunts, including intense fight scenes and precarious falls. His involvement helped maintain a strong connection between the character and the physicality seen on screen, enhancing the film's immersive quality. During the intricate action shoots, Safety measures were of primary concern. The majority of the action sequences went on under strict supervision, especially those that included fire, high-speed chases, or aerial stunts. The production team worked very closely with safety professionals to reduce hazards as much as possible without losing creativity. Their hard work paid off because the stunts were performed safely, which is a remarkable accomplishment considering the size of the film. In addition to the above issues, the film's stunt masters had to tackle another challenge: the inclusion of humorous moments in perilous scenes. To keep up the tension with the humor, it was necessary to use very precise timing so that neither the tension nor the humor would overpower the other. The missile assault on the submarine, for instance, is a scene that portrays humor amidst hecticness, which means that the actors and stuntmen have to be well coordinated not only in their physical execution, but also in showing the right narrative tone. One of the other secrets for the stunt was the set design and camera work, which were to such a detail that they heightened the feeling of danger and the broader picture. The use of angles, rapid cuts, and imaginative points of view not only raised the tension, but also hid some of the drawbacks of the technology of that time. Consequently, the thrill of the movie is tremendous and still very much appreciated by present-day viewers. The wire rigging, crash mats, and hydraulic lifts were among the specialized facilities that were creatively used to reproduce movements and impacts that were almost impossible to achieve otherwise. Thus, the stunt team was able to map out the timing of the different parts of the scene that looked very easy on the screen, but actually required a lot of skills and precision to be done. All these made the stunt department of this movie a great lesson in combining technical innovations and storytelling. Hence, the film True Lies was different from other action films in that it excited the viewers with brilliance and at the same time with heart-stopping realism. The meticulous attention to stunts and action sequences further shaped the film's identity, paving the way for how the cast's chemistry and performances brought these moments vividly to life. Casting choices impact. The casting of True Lies played a pivotal role in making the film resonate with audiences beyond its explosive set pieces. Jamie Lee Curtis as Helen Tasker brought a perfect blend of wit, charm, and toughness that matched Schwarzenegger's larger-than-life presence. Her casting elevated the film's emotional core, transforming the wife's character from a mere plot device into a strong, relatable partner who grew alongside Harry Tasker. Curtis's performance earned critical acclaim, including a Golden Globe Award, underscoring just how vital her role was to the movie's success. Bill Paxton as Simon, the quirky sidekick, provided not only comic relief, but also a counterbalance to Schwarzenegger's serious spy role. Paxton's ability to inject humor without diminishing the stakes made their on-screen friendship believable and engaging. This casting added depth to the supporting characters, making the film's world feel rich and multidimensional, rather than a simple battleground for good versus evil. Tia Carrere's role as Juno Skinner introduced an antagonist who was more than a one-dimensional villain. Her portrayal brought seductive danger and complexity, giving the mercenary mastermind a presence that could rival the hero. Casting an actress capable of mixing allure with menace helped True Lies sidestep the typical flat villain archetype and strengthened the film's tension. The supporting cast also included notable names like Art Malik, whose role as the terrorist leader Salim Abu Aziz added gravitas to the antagonistic forces. These casting choices ensured a credible threat, grounding the otherwise over-the-top narrative in a palpable realism. By surrounding Schwarzenegger with strong, diverse performers, the filmmakers broadened the movie's appeal across different audience segments. Casting decisions were not only about actors, but also included stunt performers who took over the leads in scenes that required physical strength. The stunt team's expert work together with the actors' mutual attraction, made the action unite with the story without any difficulty or interruption. A daring jump with the actor or a near accident with another was the result of a well-planned and synchronized dance that took trust among the cast and crew. The collaboration of Schwarzenegger and Curtis was a must. Their on-screen marriage displayed all the irritations and love of a long-term partnership. Such an approach was a rarity in an action movie of that period, where female characters were often pushed to the background. It was a good call to capitalize on this chemistry, as it brought in warmth and humor that counterpointed the film's fast action sequences. Newcomers to the cast, like Eliza Dushku, who was assigned the role of the Tasker's daughter, injected vivacity, displaying the family aspect and developing the stakes. Her part was limited, but it still aligned with the movie's theme of invisible worlds and secrets behind the screen of daily life. The casting intricacies added to the storyline and provided viewers with various points of empathy. In the end, the powerful performances from the group of actors gave us a patchwork of completely lifelike characters. This savviness allowed True Lies not only to be a typical action film, but also to connect with the audience emotionally, while at the same time thrilling them visually. The well-thought-out casting decisions are still one of the main things that keep the movie in the list of the audience's favorites even after so long. Strong acting partnerships and well-considered casting helped True Lies balance its diverse tones, setting the stage for how audiences would receive this genre-blending film then, and how they continue to reflect on it today. Audience reception then and now. Upon its release in 1994, True Lies was met with widespread commercial success and generally favorable reviews. Audiences flocked to theaters, drawn by Arnold Schwarzenegger's star power and James Cameron's growing reputation for blockbuster filmmaking. The film grossed over $200 million worldwide, confirming its appeal across various demographics. This financial success, however, only partially captured the film's cultural impact. Critically, the movie was praised for its blend of thrilling action sequences and humor, a combination that set it apart from many contemporaries. Many reviewers highlighted Schwarzenegger's surprising range and Jamie Lee Curtis's standout performance, as well as Cameron's confident direction. Some critics, though, questioned the film's occasionally uneven tone, particularly its shifts between comedy and serious espionage. Despite this, the consensus appreciated its ambitious attempt to redefine the action genre. True Lies' release also coincided with the mid-1990s rise of the modern action-comedy hybrid, a trend that the film helped popularize. Its mix of family drama, romance, and spy thriller elements influenced many later films and television shows. The movie's iconic moments and quotable lines entered popular culture quickly, embedding True Lies as a reference point for smart blockbuster entertainment. Over time, audience perceptions of True Lies have evolved. Modern viewers often appreciate the film for its pioneering special effects and stunt work, which remain impressive even decades later. The balance of action and comedy is noted as ahead of its time, with its genre-blending approach inspiring filmmakers in various fields. Its candid take on marital relationships within a spy narrative is also seen as a refreshing narrative choice. Notwithstanding, some modern critics are more doubtful in their reassessments of certain aspects. For instance, its exhibiting of women characters, apart from Jamie Lee Curtis, or its cultural depictions of villains. These critiques embody shifting social norms and a rising call for more subtle representations. Nevertheless, the majority of critics still concede that the film's main entertainment value and technical merit are very much there. On the other hand, the film still has a strong and loyal fan base who consider it a classic of the 1990s action cinema golden age. The film is by many a point in the history of cinema where the stars, the directors, and the studios dared to make big bets within the blockbuster formula. As for Arnold Schwarzenegger, his name is inseparably linked with that of the film True Lies. Besides, the movie not only revealed his multifaceted character, but also helped him to move on from roles with just flesh and skin to more complex characters. Moreover, despite being the era of superheroes and uber-realistic effects, the film stands out as a classic that combined visual extravagance with just the right amount of comedy and sentiment. As the film's lasting audience impact shows, its influence stretches beyond box office and reviews, shaping not only careers but entire genres, an influence that would only deepen through the years that followed. Legacy and influence. True Lies stands as a landmark in 1990s action cinema, blending blockbuster thrills with character-driven storytelling in a way that few films before it managed. Its influence extends beyond its box office success, leaving a lasting imprint on how action movies balance spectacle with heart. The film demonstrated that audiences craved more than non-stop explosions. They wanted engaging characters and a mix of humor and drama, setting a new standard for the genre. The movie also pushed technological boundaries in both visual effects and stunt work, which inspired countless filmmakers in the decades that followed. The Harrier jet sequence and elevator fight scene remain classics, studied by stunt coordinators and directors aiming to create tension and excitement within dynamic environments. Arnold Schwarzenegger's role in True Lies expanded his career trajectory, proving he could handle complexity and comedy equally well alongside action. This broadened his appeal and opened opportunities beyond the muscle-bound hero stereotype. Many fans and critics regard his performance here as a turning point that showcased a versatility often underrated in his filmography. James Cameron's creative risk in blending genres also shaped how big-budget movies approached storytelling. The mix of espionage, domestic conflict, and comedy forged a template for later spy thrillers and action comedies. Films and TV series would go on to explore this overlapping terrain, finding richer emotional territory by combining pulse-pounding thrills with personal stakes. True Lies contributed to redefining female roles in action films through Jamie Lee Curtis's prominent role as both comic foil and empowered partner. This portrayal helped pave the way for stronger, more nuanced female characters in the genre. The mix of humor and action in the film also turned the audience's expectations upside down. So the studios were more willing to take on such projects that dared to mix laughter with danger. This legacy can be seen in the Fast and Furious franchise, among others, which mixes character development with high-octane action. With True Lies, a movie could have both fun and fear. The great impact it had on the culture is very visible in the ways of fans who keep going back to or even signing up for the movie through streaming and re-releases, most of the time referring to the smart writing and the very likable actors. True Lies can still be seen as a nostalgic, yet non-timeless example of the action cinema that has been taking itself seriously but has never forgotten to entertain. The film's continued popularity is an indication of a well-crafted formula that has been able to stand the test of time. The film's influence was not limited to the technical aspects, but it also threw back the camera's lights and opened the doors of imagination to the new visionary and stunt coordinators' very creative ways to operate in the genre. The playful atmosphere on set between Cameron, Schwarzenegger, and the stunt people created a standard of collaboration that a lot of very different productions are still trying to reach. All in all, True Lies is a movie that will always be remembered not only for its eye-popping scenes or star power, but also for turning upside down the public's expectations when it came to action films. It is still a landmark that demonstrated that making bold narrative choices could attract both the critics' and the audience's approval at the same time. True Lies redefined the action genre by blending heart, humor, and breathtaking thrills in a way few films have matched. Arnold Schwarzenegger's insights reveal how much care and creativity went into shaping this classic beyond what's on the surface. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden layers, hit like, subscribe for more deep dives into iconic films, and don't miss the next video already waiting on your screen. It connects more dots than you might expect.